What's up everybody, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be showcasing a pretty strong team featuring Araquanid in the Great League. Now obviously this is the first opportunity that we got to try out Araquanid in the Great League in Go Bad League. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you might have tried it out with your friends, but obviously it's the first time Great League is coming back to the GBL since the Water Festival. And if you're not familiar with Araquanid, it's basically a bug water type Pokemon. And because of its very unique typing, it's going to be one of the very few Pokemon to resist both ice and ground moves, which is why it completely walls the standard movesets of Pokemon like Walrein and Whiscash, right? And also it's going to do pretty well against other Mud Boys. It's going to do pretty well against other ice water types. It's going to do really well against some psychic and dark types, and it can be a real core breaker in the meta, which is why it's really strong. Yes, it does have a few weaknesses. It is going to be weak to electric, rock, and flying, all of which are resisted by Galarian Stunfisk, which is why Galarian Stunfisk and Araquanid form a pretty solid core because they cover up perfectly for each other's weaknesses. And for this team comp, I'm going to be running Drapeon as the lead because it's just such a fantastic generalist, and with Poison Sting as the fast move, it's going to be able to generate those charge moves really quickly. And also I'm going to be running Infestation as the fast move on Araquanid. Even though PvPoke recommends Bug Bite, I prefer Infestation because Infestation has a better energy per turn as compared to Bug Bite. Even though Bug Bite has a better damage per turn and overall Bug Bite is still better. I mean, Bug Bite Araquanid beats Infestation Araquanid in the mirror, but I just like the energy generation from Infestation. And because it's a 3-turn fast move, if you're able to sneak an extra fast move in, you're going to be able to generate 3 turns worth of energy, which can actually flip a lot of matchups there. So in practice, I just felt Infestation was better, and overall with this particular team comp, I went really positive. So there's some really fun battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. Moving into the first battle here, we have a Drapion into a Nidoqueen. Now Nidoqueen can be a bit of a problem for this team. It is a little bit of a core breaker because Earth Power is going to do super effective damage to both Drapion and Galarian Stunfisk, and even Araquanid doesn't have a great matchup against Nidoqueen. So I'm going for the crunch here. I'm just going to call the Poison Fang Shield Bait, and luckily it is just a Poison Fang. Most Nidoqueens just like to go straight Poison Fang here, and I'm just going to go for the crunch right now. This is almost for sure going to get the shield from the Nidoqueen, and but at this point, they can just go straight Poison Fang. And I'm just going to let it go through. Ideally, I would like to win the lead, but that's okay. I'm okay with winning shield advantage as well because, again, like I said, this team is versatile enough in the back to basically sweep a lot of backlines there. So anyways, at this point, I do decide to shield because that was enough for an Earth Power. Unfortunately, also ends up being a CMP tie, and they bait with Poison Fang. That's not great. So I'm going for the Rock Slide here. I undercharge the Rock Slide. And this is just going to be a Poison Fang, which is triple resisted. And I can just Mud Shot this Nidoqueen all the way down. And let's see what they have in the back. They have a Sableye in the back, immediately switching into my Araquanid here. And they come in with their Shadow Drapion. Obviously, this is another variant of the Nidoqueen double Dark line. But I'm just going to go straight for the Bug Buzz right now. It does massive damage against this Drapion. And at this point, I can just farm this thing all the way down, right? I'm going to let this go Sludge Bomb. We can tank that pretty easily. We're going to probably have to shield the next one. I'm going to shield this up just to preserve a little bit of health on Araquanid because I really want to get that final shield from the Sableye. So we're going to be able to farm all the way down. And because we went straight for the Bug Buzz last time, they're probably going to think this is a Bug Buzz. So I'm just going to bait with Bubble Beam. We get a shield as well. That is perfect. I know I'm not going to be able to get to a Bug Buzz. So I'm going to switch into my Galarian Stunfisk and catch the Foul Play. This is a debuffed Foul Play. It doesn't do too much damage. And we can just go straight for the Earthquake right now. Earthquake will not one-shot, but it's going to do massive damage and put it extremely low there. And yeah, even if this Foul Play knocks out the Galarian Stunfisk, we have plenty of energy on the Araquanid. But obviously that doesn't even take out the Galarian Stunfisk because it's debuffed, and we were able to take the win there. So moving into the next battle here, we have Drapion into an Obstagoon. Obstagoon is another core breaker because this thing does really well against Galarian Stunfisk, and I can't really switch out either. Obviously Araquanid has a pretty solid matchup against it. I'm going to let it go through. It's just a Night Slash, but unfortunately they get the boost. Now these counters are absolutely tearing through Drapion. I'm going for the Sludge Bomb right now. Unfortunately, I think Obstagoon is going to be able to outpace here. I'm going to let it go through. I'm going to let it go through and come back with Araquanid, and I'm going to try and farm this thing down with Infestation. It's going to be challenging because these counters are definitely going to add up because it's boosted. I'm going to let this Night Slash go through because, like I said, Araquanid is extremely tanky. So we can just let that go through. I'm hoping I can farm down before they can get to another move. Unfortunately, they get to another Night Slash. So I'm having to burn a shield here. At this point, we've lost both switch and shield advantage, which is terrible. And I'm going to go for the Bubble Beam against this Alolan Ninetales to hopefully get a shield, but they don't shield that. Immediately going into my Galarian Stunfisk here, and they have a Talonflame in the back. And also, interestingly, this Talonflame is running Fire Spin, so they probably didn't get the Community Day Talonflame there. But anyways, I'm going to build up to the back-to-back Rock Slides here, definitely shielding up this Flame Charge. And I need to basically like land 2 more Rock Slides, right? The first one is obviously going to get the shield here. Luckily, they don't sneak an extra fast move through. So I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide right away here. Even if they sneak, that doesn't matter because this damage will not register because Rock Slide will one-shot the Talonflame. And Alolan Ninetales is slightly ahead on energy, so I know I can't get to a Rock Slide, so luckily I catch the Weather Ball on Araquanid, which is resisted. I'm just going to go for the Bubble Beam here because obviously Bug Buzz is resisted. Just want to debuff this thing so that we can survive the charm damage long enough to get off a Rock Slide, right? Luckily, Galarian Stunfisk is able to get a Rock Slide here. They sneak the charm through, but that's okay. It's debuffed, and we should be able to Mud Shot down that. Pretty close one, honestly. I mean, Obstagoon getting that boost was pretty scary, but luckily, we were able to recover from that there. So moving into the next battle here, we have a Drapion into a Galarian Stunfisk. This is a bit of a tricky situation because this team doesn't really have a hard response to Galarian Stunfisk. I mean, my only solid answer to a Galarian Stunfisk is my own Galarian Stunfisk, and I can't really switch into that, right? Especially with an energy disadvantage. So I'm going to stay in here. They actually go straight for the Rock Slide, and I'm going to go for the Crunch. I'm okay losing the lead because I'm going to try and put this Galarian Stunfisk as low as I can. We get the second Crunch through and we get the defense drop. So I'm going to shield this up because I don't want to be in a position where this Galarian Stunfisk can get off a Rock Slide and farm me down. So I'm going to allow Drapion to get a little bit lower so that Rock Slide will KO. So I'm going to go for the Crunch. We get a shield, which is perfect. At this point, I can just let the Drapion go down basically, and then come in with my Galarian Stunfisk, and I should be able to farm down before they can get to an Earthquake, right? At this point, we got a 5 Mud Shot energy lead. They come in with their Meganium. Now, Meganium is definitely a little bit of a problem because this thing has access to Earthquake as well, which will one-shot Galarian Stunfisk from this range, but this is too soon to be Earthquake. Just going to be a Frenzy Plant, which is neutral. And I'm going to actually build up to 2 Rock Slides and then go back to back here. I'm really hoping that whatever they have in the back, Araquanid can deal with it. And I'm able to get to the second Rock Slide. This is either going to get the shield or take out the Meganium from this range. It does get the shield from the Meganium, and they go for the Frenzy Plant. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect because I can come in with my Araquanid and farm down with Infestation, right? Infestation is super effective in this matchup. I'm going to definitely respect the Frenzy Plant because Frenzy Plant is, it's neutral. It's going to do quite a bit of damage here, and they have an Alolan Raichu in the back. Luckily, we had an energy lead, so I'm just going to go straight for the Bug Buzz right now. Just one-shots the Alolan Raichu there, and we're able to farm down with Infestation there. That was incredible. Luckily, we had the energy lead because Alolan Raichu can definitely be a bit of a problem for Araquanid. Moving into the next battle here, we have Drapion into a Talonflame. This time they're running Incinerate, which is obviously the standard moveset here, but this is, again, kind of tricky because Talonflame also does pretty well against this team. Going for the Flame Charge there, I just do let that go through, and at this point, they make a switch into their Wall Rain. I'm going to go into my Araquanid. This is exactly what Araquanid is built for. It is the ultimate wall to the wall rain, right? There's nothing this Walrus can do against the Spider here because everything here is resisted. I'm just going to try and go straight for the Bug Buzz, hoping for a defense drop. But anyways, this is going to do massive neutral damage against wall rain, right? And at this point, I'm just going to commit to the complete Infestation farm down here. That's okay. We're going to get hit by a couple of Icicle Spears. We can tank that. As you can see, Araquanid is just extremely tanky. They're going to get to another Icicle Spear. That's okay. I just want to come out of this matchup with a lot of energy so that I can threaten the Talonflame, right? Expecting the Talonflame to come back in here as they do there, and luckily we have 2 Bubble Beams here. Unfortunately, we let them sneak and Incinerate through. That's not great, but that's not going to KO because I'm just going to go for another Bubble Beam. They do get another Incinerate through, but I was okay. I just wanted to get this Bubble Beam debuff off. And I think it ends up being an offset CMP because they decide to throw the charge move anyways. That's perfect for me because at this point, we have a 2-shield advantage. They come into their Venusaur. I'm going to switch into my Drapion. Luckily, we had so much energy banged on Drapion. I'm going to go for the back-to-back Crunch here. Crunch will definitely take out the Venusaur from this range. And then we still have a full health Galarian Stunfisk in the back. And even if they farm down, there's no way they're getting to 3 Flame Charges. Also, we're able to get to another Crunch as well. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because Rock Slide will one-shot anyways. And all I need to do is come back with the Galarian Stunfisk and go for the Rock Slide. And that's going to take out the Talonflame there. So, yeah, moving into the next battle here, we have Drapion into an Azumarill. This is exactly one of those situations where you definitely want to be running Sludge Bomb. Obviously, Drapion with Sludge Bomb definitely does beat Azumarill in the 0 shield. So I'm going to let this go through here. Just going to be an Ice Beam, which is neutral. And then I'm going to build up to the back-to-back Sludge Bombs and then throw here. We're actually 1 Poison Sting away from the second Sludge Bomb. That's okay. We should be able to outpace Azumarill here. They do let that go through. So going for the second Sludge Bomb here, this is either going to get the shield or we're going to win Switch Advantage. We do win Switch Advantage, which is crucial. And they come in with their Sableye. Now, Sableye is definitely not a response to a Drapion because Drapion is going to do really well against Sableye. So they actually let the Crunch go through as well, and they can't really Shadow Claw farm the Drapion down, so they're going to have to throw a move. I'm going to let this go through because Araquanid also does pretty well against Sableye. I'm going to let this go through. Just going to be another foul play here. It's going to do a decent amount of chip damage, but then again, like I said, Araquanid is just so extremely tanky, and from this range, I can just go straight for the Bubble Beam, right? Because Infestation is doing quite a bit of damage anyways, and we're going to debuff this thing. This foul play is not going to do that much damage. We can just comfortably soak that, and then now they make a switch into their Galvantula. I'm just going to go for the Bubble Beam here, but this game is over, right? Because we have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and Galarian Stunfisk is one of the probably the hardest counters to Galvantula, right? Everything here is resisted. But the thing is, unfortunately, they're going to be able to get off multiple lunge and then, you know, constantly debuff the Galarian Stunfisk, but that's okay. Galvantula is extremely glassy, and that even a debuffed Rock Slide is going to do a ton of damage. I'm not going to shield a thing in this matchup. I'm just going to save the shields for a potential back-to-back foul play from Sableye, but going for the Rock Slide, even though it's double debuffed, as you can see, just does so much damage. They make a switch into their Sableye, and at this point, I'm just going to farm the Sableye all the way down. We have 2 shields. I'm going to give up both shields if I have to, because I'm going to be able to get off the Rock Slide on the G-fisk there. They go for the foul play, that's okay. I'm going to shield this up. I think at this point, they probably closed the app or something. They decided to give up the match there. And yeah, Galvantula is going to come back in, and we're going to go for the Rock Slide, and that's going to take it out there. More than enough, even though it's double debuffed. Obviously, Galvantula is extremely low, and Rock Slide is going to do enough super effective damage to take it out there. Moving into the next battle here, we have Drapeon into an Altaria. And Altaria is again another kind of a tricky lead because, I mean, we do have a solid response in the form of Galarian Stunfisk, but obviously Araquanid definitely does not want to go up against an Altaria. So going for the crunch here, luckily we do get the defense debuff, and I'm going to shield this up, and I'm hoping that I can win the lead here, right? So again, at this point, this is where I make a bit of a mistake. I should have actually gone for the Sludge Bomb, because Sludge Bomb would have guaranteed taken out the Altaria even if they didn't shield, right? But I go for the crunch. That was very smart play on their part. They knew they would survive that, and they're able to get to another Sky Attack. Unfortunately, I'm having to go down 2 shields here, which is not ideal, because even though I won the lead, that's not ideal to go down 2 shields, especially because they have their own Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and this is really scary because Galarian Stunfisk can absolutely sweep this backline with the shield and energy advantage, right? So my only play is to come in with my Galarian Stunfisk, and I'm going to count and catch the Earthquake on the Araquanid. Earthquake is resisted by Araquanid. That really hardly does any damage, so luckily we were able to waste a bunch of energy there. And now they make a switch into their Charmer, right? It's a Sylveon, but the good thing is we have a bit of an energy lead, and I'm going to try and spam as many Bubble Beams and try and burn the clock here. I really want to be able to switch out into this Galarian Stunfisk as soon as I can, because I need to preserve a little bit of Araquanid to hopefully get off a Bubble Beam on the Galarian Stunfisk later, right? So I'm going to go for another Bubble Beam here, constantly debuffing the Sylveon, and I'm going to try and catch the move on my Galarian Stunfisk. This is perfect. We're able to catch a triple debuffed resisted Psyshock, which hardly does anything there. And then I'm going to overfarm up to 100 energy and then throw the Rock Slide. Unfortunately, we capped at 100 energy. I decided to throw, but ends up being a CMP tie. So at this point, I'm going to actually undercharge the Rock Slide to a point where I can hopefully farm down and build back to 100 energy. But they're obviously going to switch, and this is really, really unfortunate here. I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. There's no point baiting because they're going to be able to outpace anyway. Unfortunately, Earthquake does give the shield. My only win condition there was if they thought that was a bait or something, but they're going to go for the Earthquake. But unfortunately, Araquanid does not have enough health to take out the Galarian Stunfisk. They're going to go for the Bubble Beam here. Obviously, super effective, but doesn't do that much damage. But in spite of this Rock Slide being debuffed, this is definitely going to be taking out the Araquanid there. It's a pretty close battle. I mean, unfortunately, it's always difficult to recover from a 2-shield deficit, but we did the best we could there. Anyways, moving into the next battle here, we have a Drapion into an Empoleon. Empoleon can also be kind of tricky for this team because it does super effective damage against both Galarian Stunfisk and Araquanid because it has access to Drill Peck as well. But the good thing is Drapion is going to do quite a bit of damage with Crunch. I was trying to deny the extra waterfall there. Unfortunately, they were able to sneak an extra move. But that's okay. I'm going to let this go through. We have a shield advantage right now. I'm going to be able to take that. I'm obviously going to come in with my Araquanid because I don't want to take waterfall damage on the G-fisk. So I'm going to come in with the Araquanid here. And they go for the Hydro Cannon. They probably accidentally click the Hydro Cannon there. And they make a switch into their Altaria. This is exactly why we have G-fisk, right? It covers up for the Araquanid's flying weaknesses. But anyways, I'm going to be able to come in with G-fisk, and this is such a solid matchup for Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to go for the back-to-back Rock Slides here. Obviously, I do have to watch out for, I mean, these Dragon Breaths are really adding up, so I'm just going to try and get off these Rock Slides as soon as I can because I don't want to put my Galarian Stunfisk extremely low to a point where Empoleon can farm down with Waterfall, right? So just going to get off this Rock Slide here, expecting the Empoleon to come back in. But if they come back in, I'm going to immediately switch into my Araquanid. But they actually decide to give up the match there. I don't know. They probably had a Dark type or a Psychic type or something in the back. But yeah, we had that game for the most part. So met with a Hypno on the lead. This is the dream lead. This is absolutely perfect for this team. I mean, Hypno honestly is one Pokemon you want to see because all three of these Pokemon kind of do pretty well against Hypno. So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can, trying to deny that extra confusion there. And we get the defense drop and get the shield on the first crunch. Going for the second crunch, this is going to do massive super effective damage. And we get another defense drop. Now they make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk. And again, I really can't switch out, right? Because again, they've got a bit of an energy advantage at this point. I'm going to stay in with Drapion and then try and go for as many crunches as possible. Actually, I'm going to soak up this Rock Slide and then build up to a crunch and then switch into my Galarian Stunfisk here. But the good thing here is that we have the shield advantage. So I'm just actually going to go straight for the Earthquake. They actually overfarm quite a bit. And I'm going to go for the Earthquake here, and they let that go through. They decide to let all of that energy go. That's okay, because they have an Azumarill in the back, and this is perfect for me as well. I'm just going to be able to get to this Earthquake here. This is going to do a significant amount of neutral damage against Azumarill. And they have to go for a Hydro Pump to take out the Galarian Stunfisk, right? I'm perfectly okay letting this go through because we still have a loaded Drapeon and a full health Araquanid in the back. And I'm going to come in with my Araquanid, and hopefully they don't have any flyers in the back. So yeah, anyways, going to come back with Araquanid here. Actually, I'm going to come in with my Drapeon because we have a lot of loaded energy on Drapeon. I'm going to go straight for the Sludge Bomb right now. Sludge Bomb near one-shots. And they just have a Hypno in the back, right? So I'm just going to catch the Ice Punch on the Araquanid here, and they decide to concede the match there. So yeah, I mean, I totally forgot they didn't have a flyer there. That's actually the reason why I let the Galarian Stunfisk go down. So we have an Alolan Marowak in the lead. This is again a pretty solid lead. Obviously not as good as Hypno because Alolan Marowak does have access to Bone Club, which can hit for super effective against Drapeon. But it's a pretty solid matchup regardless, right? They do shield the first crunch, which is perfect, but unfortunately we don't get the defense debuff, and they shield the second crunch as well, and this time we get the debuff. I'm going to let the first Bone Club go through because we can tank one of these. And I'm going to definitely shield this one, right? Because they're debuffed. I want to be able to get off a crunch here and hopefully try and win the lead. But they make an aggressive swap into the Wigglytuff. I was actually slightly slow to switch out, and Drapeon unfortunately took a lot of damage from Charm. But Galarian Stunfisk has a pretty solid matchup against Wigglytuff. So I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. It does massive damage against the Wigglytuff. And we can soak up an Ice Beam. It is neutral, but I'm going to be able to farm down. And if the Alolan Marowak decides to come back in, we're going to have an Earthquake or a Rock Slide ready to go, right? Actually, they do decide to smartly not come back with Alolan Marowak. They come in with their Meganium. Meganium is going to be able to comfortably tank these Rock Slides here. It is a little bit scary. Like I said, Meganium is extremely tanky as well. So, I mean, I do have to watch out here. So I'm actually going to immediately try and switch into the Drapeon and try and get off this crunch. Unfortunately, Drapeon was extremely low and we ended up wasting all that energy there. That's very unfortunate. So at this point, I'm going to have to come in with my Araquanid. I'm going to shield this Frenzy Plant. And they're probably going to get to another one right now. Yeah, this is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage, but I'm hoping that I can get a massive energy lead against Alolan Marowak. But they go for the Earthquake. That's definitely not the move you want to go for because that's resisted. And now Alolan Marowak comes back in, but we have a lot of energy. I'm just going to constantly debuff this Alolan Marowak. Going to go for Bubble Beam after Bubble Beam. Doing super effective damage, but not a lot of damage. But again, we're just going to try and debuff this thing as much as we can, right? Going to be able to go for the third Bubble Beam. Unfortunately, we lose CMP. And they go for Shadow Ball. Just look at how little Shadow Ball does, right? Yes, it's double debuff, but Araquanid is just such an absolute tank. Able to get to the third Bubble Beam as well. And hopefully I can get to the fourth one. They get to another move. This is too soon to be another Shadow Ball. Probably just going to be a Bone Club. And a triple debuffed resisted Bone Club that did like 1 HP there. That is just a laughable amount of damage, honestly. But anyways, able to get to another Bubble Beam. And Araquanid coming in super clutch to be able to close out the game there. So we finish with 4-1 set. Could have gone 5-0 if I hadn't gone down 2 shields in that opening matchup. But like I said, overall, I went really positive with this team. So if you're looking for a good team to try out with the Araquanid, I would highly recommend this one. Although there are quite a few other strong teams as well. But anyways, guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time.